Hey, Foothills. What's up, guys? Hope everybody's had a good week thus far. We got our winners tonight on our live stream. We got the top three from this last event, our last event of the regular season. I'm going to pull my co host in here with me,
What's up, everybody?
Mr. Garrett Wisnett. And we'll start with third place from Saturday's event, Alex Van Dyke, aka AVD. There he is. Second place from this weekend, Mr. Mark Linden, joining us tonight, and the man of the year, Austin Bang, aka Hammer Time. So I told these guys we'd just start and have a conversation, and just start with Alex, and then work our way up to Austin, and kind of give Austin the the featured spot again tonight. Let him tell us about his season and about his AOI win. And I told these guys to say as much or as little as they felt comfortable talking about. We got the NC Bass Championship coming up here in less than a month. And I know I wouldn't be wanting to reveal my ramp if I came in a top three. But I want to say thanks to all the sponsors helped us out this year. As you know, this was our last event this weekend. I want to say thanks to my wife for helping me out, and I want to say thanks to Garrett Wisnett off the top. They've been a great help to me this year. Anything I've asked them to do, they've done it, and it helped me mentally and physically running this little deal. But enough about me, and let's get right into it tonight. And Mr. Alex, we let you have the floor, and talk about your day and your season and whatever you want to talk about, man.
Now, whatever I want to talk about, that could get crazy. But so I ended up, I didn't launch it exactly where I wanted to. I wanted to launch at Beatty's Ford, but I knew if I launched at Beatty's Ford, I was going to cross the lake, and that was going to get sketchy, real sketchy with that wind blowing in the direction it was. I wasn't so much worried about the bass boats as I was just the wind getting back.
Yeah.
Because if you know anything about Norman fishing, most of the time you got to fish in that wind. It's not fun. It is to me. I love it, but a lot of people don't like it. And that's just if you're going to fish for spotted bass, you better be in that wind. And so I saw you. Cody knows where I launched, and
yeah,
me and Cody talked a little bit before we launched, and kind of thought we were going in the same direction. So I said, "Come on, Cody." And how I turned around, and there wasn't no lights behind me. I was all by myself. I said, well, I guess I'm just doing this trek alone. And I went out.
Outback Power, man. You ran off and left me. And then I was thinking, oh, man, I don't want to try to come back.
and
win.
I ended up going out about 1.7 miles to where I wanted to start. I practiced twice this week, once at Long Island, and then one time in the boat with a buddy because he was fishing the cat. And one of the spots we found Wednesday in the boat had a bunch of small fish on it, like limit fillers. So that's where I wanted to start. And that's all it was there was mostly limit fillers. I caught a 1575 real quick on a chatterbait. I don't throw much. Had a small one eat the chatterbait. And then proceeded to, I think I had six or eight bites on topwater in that little spot, and I hooked all but two of them, and the biggest one came off. And so when I ended up pulling off my spot, I think I had like 46 and a half inches or something. It was a solid limit to start. It was quick. I was catching fish quick, so I didn't have to really worry about what I needed to throw. It was more where I needed to go from then. And from there, I had two other locations, predetermined spots to run from there. One is just I wouldn't call it a community hole on Norman, but a lot of people know where it's at. And that was one of the only docks that I wanted to fish.
Yeah.
And so I went straight to that dock, and I thought it would be pretty easy to start catching fish off of it. And I fished it hard, fished all the spots the fish are normally at on this dock, and no bites. and finally wedged my kayak up in a weird little spot and started making a specific pitch to basically where no other you could only make in a kayak. Any boat that rolled up to this dock, they couldn't make this cast.
Yeah.
And the first cast that I made dropped down is the deeper part of the dock on a half-ounce drop shot. Right bait scent worm.
Yeah.
I thought I was waiting for it to fall, and it was kind of deep, falling. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Tightened it up, and then it was swimming. So I set the hook, and it was 17 3/4 largemouth, and the thing came straight up from about 20 feet and jumped and almost hit the bottom of the dock, and then proceeded to start going for every cross member that was under this dock, one after the other. And I'm sitting there trying to wrap my rod around the cross member that I'm tucked up into. And finally got it out, threw it in reverse, and backed up and got in open water. And it was pretty tired from all the acrobats and the trying to get into the crossbars. So I went back up there, dropped back down, caught a 14 1/4, which I think that was my bottom fish at the time. That 14 1/4 inch spot fought as hard as that 17 3/4 inch largemouth. I thought I had another not giant, but big one. And then so from there I went to my third area, which is it's an open water flat, essentially. There's not much on it. There's a tree out there. And then it drops straight off into the main channel. And I was only, a couple weeks ago, the fish, I mean, you could go out there and catch 15 2-pounders. Like you had to stay out there for a while and locate them, but they were out there. I caught one 15-incher off that spot and finally abandoned that. And then just decided to go fish the wind after that, started throwing that chatterbait. In the wind, I tried to force feed them a jerkbait. It was so funny. I think 2 people, Landon Moore and somebody else at the ramp, told me that when they saw that they were standings watching. When they saw that I was behind Austin,
they started throwing the jerkbait.
And at that time, the only other person over 50 inches, they started throwing a jerkbait, and that was the only thing I couldn't get bid on, moving bait wise. I mean, and it's a little early for it, but in the past, I still have been able to, if I cover enough water with it and keep throwing it, keep it honest, I'll catch some small ones. I couldn't get a bite. So I cut that sucker off 5 hours in. I should have probably thrown the chatterbait the rest of the day because I caught a 16 1/4 and a 16 3/4 on it and a 15 3/4. So out of all the fish I caught, the average size, like looking back, that's really what they wanted. And I don't mind saying it's a chatterbait because 1, it's not the jackhammer, and 2, I use a weird trailer. So just because I'm saying I'm throwing a chatterbait, not many people are going to go out there and replicate exactly what I was doing.
Oh yeah.
Not that I'm some chatterbait guru. It's just something I happened to stumble upon the first time I threw a chatterbait at Hickory last year, that Hickory tournament that I won.
Yeah.
And
I know what you threw.
And so I probably should have thrown, but I wasn't. I'm still a little bit green and rookie enough to where I won't fish for 3 bites for the rest of the day. I sometimes I will. I finished 6 in the Twin City tournament earlier in the year doing that, and that's really what I should have done. I think what kept me from doing that was I also standings watch, and I knew Austin was at the time was not. I was only a half an inch out, so and I didn't need a big fish. I just needed to. If I could keep getting bites, I thought maybe I could get lucky and catch a 17. Wouldn't have mattered if I did catch a 17. He still would have beat my brains in. But I cut the jerkbait off, started throwing a crankbait, which I also don't throw, and caught 5 and lost 1, 4, lost 1 on it. I caught I think it was a 15 1/4, but it was fat solid, about 2-pounder. And then I just fished the wind for the last hour and a half, just trying to, I don't have a graph, so I spend a lot of time looking at contour maps, So I was just cruising around trying to hit stuff that I remembered or were anomalies or humps or where there might be some rock or just something different to try to find a bigger bite, because it seemed like the fish that were grouped up were the smaller size, that the solos were the better than average size bites that day. And I never got bit and rode my happy self back to the wind in the ocean, or back to the ramp in the ocean.
Yeah, that's what kept me from following you, man. I got down there and it was like the freaking ocean.
Yeah, it was. It down on that main
worst ever, but pretty bad.
Yeah, it was. I never had any issues in that Outback. That thing is a beast. and that's the reason I originally got it. I never intended to bass fish. I bought a kayak to go down to the beach and saltwater fish. So I wanted the most stable thing for waves, so it works out when it's windy. And like I love fishing in the wind. I love it. That's about my favorite. Any more than that is a bit much in a kayak.
Yeah.
But that is probably my favorite. Sunny, windy, like that. That's probably my favorite conditions to fish on Norman because it makes it tough on other people. I like a tough stop tournament. I really do. But that's pretty much the basis of my day. As far as my year goes, I think the reason that I've got better this year is I just have fished with people that are better than me a lot the last 2 years. Any chance I can get, I fish. I get in the boat with somebody that knows what they're doing, that can show me a technique that either I haven't thought about the way they're throwing it or I just have no confidence in. For some reason, it takes me like seeing it with my own eyes to believe, okay, this is how you do this. This is like it's like far and away from YouTube. Like I can get on YouTube and look at all kinds of stuff, but being in the boat or being beside somebody in a kayak and watching them throw a jerk bait and like, okay, that's really like what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And just spending as much time on the water as possible and going and fishing conditions like that when there's not tournaments. That my first 2 years, I practiced in everything. About every Saturday there was, I went and fished. If there wasn't a tournament, I went and fished. If it was raining, if it was cold, if it was hot, if it was windy, because we don't get to pick the days tournaments are on. And some days they're in some of the crappiest weather that you've ever thought about fishing. Yeah. And just a little bit of experience and confidence knowing I can fish in this wind, I can fish in this rain. It can go a long way. It has for me.
Well, let's look at your fish for just a second.
Let's have a gander.
I know why this group's called Foothills. I mean, look at Alex's. Always showing his foot, you know.
I know.
Perfect.
Always curled toes.
It's always curled up like a mutant. I don't know why I do that.
Are those Crocs too small, or?
It's a baby.
His toenails, I guess. I don't know, because it's the foothills, you know. So you just want to show his foot, I guess.
That's funny.
So that was your 16 and a quarter. Here's your 16.75.
Both of those are chatterbait fish.
And here's your big fish, 17.75.
3-pounder on the drop shot.
Yeah, it's a nice little largie, ain't it?
Yeah, he was healthy to be out there. He had been called at some point. He had a scar in his mouth, but he's been eating. It seems he wasn't skinny like a lot of the retreads around Queens and Pinnacle are.
Let's see what the Tourney X says. You had approximately 8.11 pounds,
and that's based off of. That if it was all largemouth, that would be accurate. Yeah. They did all their studies off of average largemouth size. So it's around here. It's very misleading when you have a bag full of spots.
Yeah, true. Maybe a pound and a half off that. You had over.
I know what I had. I had 295, 221, and 189, whatever that is.
Huh. So that's your spiel?
That's my spiel. Give it Mark. I hand over the floor to the tiebreaker. Mark.
Got anybody you want to thank?
Anybody? Oh yeah. Of course. Besides y'all, Right Baits for sure. Matt Stark. The first time, he's one of the nicest guys that I've met in terms of outside of he is an angler, but in terms of industry people, he doesn't have a big giant following, but he's got a relevant following, and he just regular dude. He just talks to you like he's known you forever. The first time I went and met him to get some baits because I needed some stuff immediately. He's just like I said, act like he had been my friend forever.
Yeah, man, that's the way it was when I was.
He solicited me for pro staff. He was like, "Do you have any sponsors or anything?" I was like, "No, I'm just kind of out here hanging out." So he said, "Send me an email," and we've talked. I mean, ever since then, I've a couple times we've tried to meet up to demo a Hobie. He's interested in getting a kayak, and he's so busy with his son surfing and stuff. His son's a great little surfer. It's pretty impressive. But the Right Baits, and then Troy LeHue at Shane's Baits. Troy helps me out a bunch. Whether it be he's paid a couple of my entry fees. A-rigs are expensive. I get a discount on A-rigs, and Troy's just been a really good friend to me. And then Hobie Eyewear sunglasses, still the best polarized sunglasses that they make for the price. I will put them up against any pair besides Leopold because I've never seen those. I don't know anything about those. But bring your glass lens Costas, and I'll bring my Hobies and tell me they're any different. And they cost about a third or less. And my wife that's sitting in there because she doesn't complain. I fish a lot. I go fish a lot. Like I said, I spend a lot of time on the water, and she lets me do as I please for the most part and doesn't complain. She likes to see me do something I enjoy, and I really appreciate that.
Heck yeah, that means a lot. That helps the confidence for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Matt Stark's YouTube channel is pretty good too.
Yeah.
I follow him, watch all his stuff.
If he would have stuck with it, I mean, he was in the game early, man. If he could have stuck with it, he could be tactical bassing type stuff. Honestly,
Yeah,
man.
he's pretty
very
good.
analytical. He's very
smart. He just, he did
a lot that goes into the development of his bait.
He doesn't get to fish a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, we appreciate you, man.
Well, I appreciate y'all. I'm interested to hear what these other guys have to say.
Mark, you're up, man.
Well, my day actually started before this tournament. In the last tournament, I had an hour to go, and I caught a 12-inch fish. And who would ever think that a 12-inch fish mattered? But if I didn't catch that last 12-inch fish on James, we wouldn't have been having this TOC conversation. Yeah. So it came down to, for me, a 12-inch fish on James in the last hour.
Oh, yeah.
On a jerk bait in the middle of, if you saw my video, you would know. Schooling fish through a jerk bait, caught one hour to go, and that's why I'm even in the TOC, really, 12-inch fish. So sometimes it comes down to little things like that. But this tournament was weird for me because I put a lot of pressure on myself I knew I calculated everything you could think about how to get into the TOC. And that was really my mindset, was just to get in TOC. I told John, I don't know if I like this pressure. I'm used to going to Foothills having fun. I don't know about this pressure trying to get into the TOC. And I calculated out right at 50 inches, 51, 52. I felt really good about, but I knew 50 was the number that I needed. Unfortunately, I missed fishing Norman, which is the lake that I fish a little bit better at, and went to Fontana Lake with Queen City trying to get in through the Western Division, which did not work out. I skunked there, missed Norman, and then had to put all this pressure on myself. So before I even started, how did I get myself in this position? Because I had two good finishes before. Just wanted to start by saying maybe I need to put more pressure on myself. I don't know. But that's not how the morning started. So I said, well, I'm going to do top water and whopper plopper, and that's not my normal bait that I throw. Normally a buzz bait guy. And so I started throwing it. Within 5 minutes, I hooked up a fish. He missed it. So not a big deal. That happens. Then the next fish I hooked pretty good. Got him all the way to the nose of the kayak. Went to go land him. Came off. And he was a solid fish. So I already started off like, here we go. Got all this pressure on myself. Missing two within the first 30 minutes. Then about 30 minutes later, I went to my old shaky head, like Austin, and hooked up a good one. But I changed leaders right before then because I lost the shaky head. And all I had on the boat with me was 6 or 10 pound tests. I went with 6. Maybe a mistake. Hooked up a
Water
fish.
Was really clear that day.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking 6 versus the 10. But then I hooked up a good fish, and I don't know how, if I had a nick or what, but popped him right at the boat again. So here I am, missing 3 fish, 3 solid fish, and I was like, that's not going to help my 50 inches.
Yeah, you could have spun out right there, man.
Yeah, I was just. I mean, you'll see in my video my reaction to me losing that last fish. I think I almost quit then, but got my head up, tied on new leader, went back at it, ended up catching a little 12-incher in the back of the cove that I was in, and I said, this is not it. I'm going to end up with small fish if I hang out here too long. And I knew the wind was ripping. And unlike Alex, I cannot stand the wind. It throws my casts off. I can't be accurate. I know that's where the fish are, but I hate fishing in the wind. I just cannot stand it. And like you said, it hurts other anglers, and I'm probably one of them because it just messes me up.
Yeah, man.
So I said I'm gonna go fish in the wind because I gotta do it. I don't have any time to be messing around. So went out there on main channel and got my shaky head. I said I happened to run into a custom bait maker called Smoking Baits.
Yeah.
And I've been developing a specific color just for Norman, which I'm not going to announce what it is, but I said I'm going to try that color. Maybe that's something different than I was using. As soon as I put that on, 3 casts later, I hooked up on a fish, and I figured out the pattern of where they were at the docks, and a little bit opposite. I will say this because it's not going to matter because it changes all the time. But normally you would go on the wind-blown side of a bank. I was on the complete opposite where the wind was coming off of. So it changed where they were positioned on it, which I found interesting. And I can't hide it because, I make YouTube videos, so you're going to see what I was doing.
Yeah.
And like I said, wind changes. They were in a different spot the last time we were on Norman. So I started fishing, and I was like, all right, not catching anything of size. And then I found that dock, that one dock that you need. And hooked in. There was a kayaker, and I could hear a dad talking to his son. And he was, 50 feet from me. Oh, son, look at that guy fishing. I threw it under the dock, hooked up one. And then it was kind of cool because he was telling his kid how I'm catching the fish. Look, he's got a fish. It's like I had an audience for this.
Yeah.
And that was my 16-inch fish that I caught right in front of him. And so that was kind of cool. And because I really needed that fish. I knew that was going to be part of the limit at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all right. But take it, I was not interested in even cashing in this tournament. I know that sounds weird, but I've gone enough times without cashing. I just wanted to be in the TOC to get a chance. That's all I was concerned about. I was not concerned about cashing a check on this tournament. I just wanted to get into the championship. And
you had a 16 from a previous event. Like that was your limit that you dropped.
Yeah.
16. So you were able to.
How many spots? Do you know offhand how many spots you jumped, Mark? Like where were you at before that tournament versus
20th?
Wow. And you ended up where?
12th.
Nice.
No, 11th. 11th.
Nice.
Right? Yeah. 11th.
Right. You and Chris Parker actually are, tied.
I had Chris Parker. He's the one that I knew I had to jump ahead. Funny enough, is that he's the measurement that I used of this is how many points I need.
Yeah.
And so I was just focused in on the TOC. I was not focused in on cashing. I didn't look at the leaderboard one time the entire day. And I submitted a fish. I didn't want to even look at it, so I didn't submit.
That's good.
And I had a couple small ones I threw in there, and then I just kept fishing and rolled up on another dock, and a bass boat had cut me off. Went to the little cove I was going to go to. Like, I was coming across the channel, and then he did one of these. Zoop. And I said, I was going to go over to the dock on the other side, and that's where they all were. And so I got to thank that boat for cutting me off because he sent me to the dock where the fish were. And so I caught a couple other ones. I caught that 15-inch off the next dock. And then I think it was the same dock. I have to look at the video. But I said, all right, time to leave. I had caught a couple small ones. So I caught a couple fish off the same dock.
Yeah.
And I said, before I leave, I'm going to just check in one more spot, and you'll see the video, so I'm not going to hide it. Under the catwalk. And I said, I didn't throw under that catwalk yet. And let me check that. And then I did one cast under that catwalk. And I even looked at my camera and said, oh, man, that was a perfect cast. Because I just, in that wind, you got to position that kayak just right. And especially you're throwing under a catwalk, you got to hit it. You got one shot. You're not going to get a bunch of shots to throw it. Your kayak's going to be all over the place. So I made that perfect shot. I said, man, perfect cast. I was all excited just in my cast. And then that's where I stuck that 19.5. Was right before I was about to leave that dock. I gave one more shot and just hit that. When you hit that cast and you're like, there should be a fish right there.
Oh, yeah.
And that cast is the one that's going to get it. And it's not like I call that shots all day long. I am not that good to be able to do that.
Well,
but I just felt real confident.
Big fish.
Yeah.
19.5.
I bet that sucker fought.
Oh, well, you're going to see it. And I put the net down twice. And every time he saw that net, right back down again.
That's why I don't use a net. I don't even have a net. Like, I have a net on my kayak for treble hook baits and big fish on treble hook baits, but I never use my net for that. I've had too many fish. I've lost 2 of the biggest fish I've ever hooked for that reason. Like you're saying, they see that net and they go berserk.
Yeah, I didn't really realize it until I went back and watched the video, and I said every time I dipped the net in to scoop him, he went back down again. I could see that I had him stuck pretty good, and I Bassmaster hook set him, and so I felt pretty good that he was in there. But
that made the difference. That big fish.
Well, I knew that at the time, and I went absolutely crazy, acting like a little schoolboy out there yelling and screaming at that fish. It's been a while since I caught really that size quality fish, and I knew at that time. Again, I wasn't even thinking about cashing. I just knew that was what I needed for my 50.
Yeah.
I didn't care about. And John had radioed me earlier and said, somebody's leading. I think it was obviously Austin had 52, and a bunch of guys got 50. I'm like, all right. So
Don't
probably
even tell me. Don't tell me that.
Yeah, he was like, I'm 6th, 7th place maybe.
A bunch. Man, that's crazy. If he said a bunch of guys got 50, there was like 4 people in the whole board that had 50. That's funny.
Yeah,
including you.
Well, it sounded like I had no shot.
That's funny.
I didn't submit it, so I didn't know what my measurement was. And I'm just, like I said, I'm all focused. I wasn't even thinking about winning. I wasn't measuring to win. I got to my 50 and it was good,
Yeah.
That's TOC time. And I know that sounds a little weird, but then I got to the ramp and I think AVD said something to me about my big fish. And I didn't even know what you were talking about, that I had the tiebreaker. I didn't even know what you were saying because I didn't know what place I was in.
Oh yeah, I guess you didn't realize the standings had come back on when I walked.
I had no clue what you. I was like, you must have heard my big fish. I don't even know what you're saying.
I just happened to look, and I think actually it was Landon had walked up and said, "You and Mark tied," and I was like, because I'm used to seeing you online as Slowboat.
Yeah.
I was like, I said, who the F is Mark? I was like, who's Mark? I was like, and he was like, Mark. I was like, oh my God. He's like, Slowboat Fishing. And I was like, and that's when I walked up to you and was like, man, congrats on that tiebreaker. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know what you're talking about. And then Richard showed me the who came in, what did he come in 4th?
Yeah.
And he showed me, he's like, oh, you got 2nd. I said, oh, all right. I got my 50 and I knew I was up there in the TOC. And then another guy, I don't know his name. I think I kicked him by moving me up. I think he fell out of the TOC.
Caleb.
Caleb, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you pushed.
And then he calculated it out, and he said, "No, you're in." I said, "Well, I'll wait for the official standing." So, man, I was so excited because I was really bummed that I missed the Lake Norman event, the last one that you had.
Yeah.
I felt like I made a real mistake fishing the other club that time, and I really wanted to make this TOC with you guys. So that was pretty cool. That was an awesome day for me.
Heck yeah, man!
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you made it in. Be able to give your sidekick John some company.
Well, that's the other thing. Then I'd have to hear about how he's in the TOC preparing and all this stuff. Yeah, he lives across the street from me, so. Yeah.
That's fine.
That's my kayak sits in his garage all the time, and
I wondered if that's what you've done.
Yeah, I walk across the street. That's where my kayak is. It's in his garage. So I'm the one that I actually got him into fishing, and he never fished before. A couple of years ago, he just started fishing. He caught his first fish with me, and I got him into kayak fishing, and then he said, "Let's do tournament fishing." I just wanted I bought a kayak and had no intention of tournament fishing. I didn't even know what you guys were doing. I just like to fish, and he said, "Nah, we're gonna go tournament fishing." I said, "Competition for fishing? I just like to fish. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And then here I am fishing a million tournaments with you guys. That's all I do now is tournament. I don't get the fun fish. I got a family, and I don't get that much time off.
Real?
There ain't nothing fun about fishing for bass unless it's in a tournament. Period.
Yeah, it's a different mentality. Actually, it's different. I'm not used to that. I've fished all my life. Most of my time's been in saltwater, fishing for saltwater on the West Coast.
Oh,
so
God.
This
Bless
is
your heart. You've
different.
got to come over here and do this.
Yeah, this is completely different for me. So it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate the club and the way that you run it, Cody. A lot different feel. I'm not saying one club's better than the other. Just it's a completely different feel over here. That's all.
So, appreciate that. Yeah. Hopefully we can keep that feeling.
Yeah. And before I have to thank my wife for putting up with my habit or hobby or whatever you guys want to call it. Addiction, all that. And, I know it's, the Friday before is like prep day, and then I got to go to bed early, and then she got to take care of the kids and the dogs, and then I'm tired the next day. I don't feel like doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you got to Airbnb if it's far away, and so
you get used to it more. Trust me.
Is that right?
Yeah, you'll get used to it.
I get used to it if I get to hang out with you guys on these live streams all the time. But.
And I found out it works out to save money for me, but I prepare better if I don't go stay out of town. I don't like getting an Airbnb. Like next year when I go to Santee, I'm going to get up and day trip. I'm going to get up in the morning at 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever. I don't like staying out of town. I just like I just work better under less sleep. So that's funny.
Some people are just like sleeping on their bed too. So
yeah. It's the last time we stayed at an Airbnb. We went to Santee and that wasn't bad. And I think we've driven a few times where we woke up that early. Hartwell's a long ways away for us too. So that's almost as far as Santee.
Oh yeah, 4 hours or something at least.
Yeah, and then when you start changing, hey, everybody wants to fish earlier. And then those start times at 5:30 are really that's
early in the season. It's definitely.
I like the fall where you're starting 6:37. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, I'm not a morning person either, Mark.
Nah, I can't stand it. But it's part of fishing, I guess.
So you spoke about smoking baits. Anybody and your wife, obviously.
Yeah. No, I mean that's
John. I guess John helps you a lot.
Yeah, we go back and forth on everything, and it's good to have. I think the more that we're learning about fishing, the less that we actually fish next to each other or around each other. He kind of has things that he likes, and I have things that I like. And I still run into him from time to time. I ran into him that day when we were fishing, and interesting. He's not gonna like that I'm going to say this, but I ran into John. He said I was headed in one direction. He said, "You may not want to go that way." I said, "Why is that?" He said, NC Bassin, everybody calls it by your YouTube channel. I know it's Landon's that way.
Yeah.
He's coming towards you. I said, all right, well, I'll turn around and go the other way then. And that's where I caught all the fish. So he was tracking behind me. And I never did see Landon, but he was tracking behind me at some point. That's the last time I saw him.
Well, I know you talking about the wind, playing the wind like that. That's why I chose the ramp I went to, because I'm sort of figuring out, like, looking at the map. All right, the weatherman says the wind's going to blow this way, so this ramp should be good. And, sometimes the wind will switch, but, the wind was really – the ramp we went to, the wind was really in our favor, but it didn't.
I think you would have done better if you would have came out with me.
Further out, yeah. I stopped at that one shoal, and I didn't want to go any further. But
Yeah, the wind. I swore that the pattern that we had at that Emerald event with Queen City would hold, but the wind was completely different direction at that point.
Yeah.
So they were not in the same place that they were before.
And the
area was still
way
good.
different area.
You know, Mid Lake. I mean, it's just wherever you want to pick. I think.
There's
it
fish
doesn't
on.
matter
You can
that
pick
much.
any ramp on Norman, and if you spend the time, you can find fish around there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I told John the other day. You don't need I think you need to be in the right, as far as southern, northern or mid lake. I think you got to figure out that part of it. But within that, I don't think that the ramp matters all that much. You're going to travel anyways. I could have easily traveled to another ramp.
And I've just got such a I'm not that special. I just have such a distinct advantage of being so plugged into Norman. Between I know so many people that fish out there. I keep up with all the tournament results. So I usually choose my ramp based off of just what area of the lake is firing best. And any given weekend, any given day, there's some people that also might always go to the same ramp. Y'all might always go to the same ramp, but I might launch it. Long Island, I might launch it. Beatty's Ford, I might go all the way down to Blythe, or I might go to Little Creek, or I might go to Hager's. It just all depends on really that wind, like Cody was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't figured that part out. Other than when it's windy, I know where not to go. Because I cannot stand the wind.
It worked out. You don't need it.
Yeah, well, it was plenty windy, but I just wasn't on the windy side of the lake, which was weird. You always go to the wind-blown side, and that's
what you think.
Not where they were.
It'll be interesting to see next time, like the conditions are similar. If you go straight and start doing that, if it works out exactly like it did this time, I'll be interested to see.
Yeah. Yeah, there was 8 or 9 of us that launched out of the same ramp.
There was a lot at Stompy.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, we're glad you made it in, man. I'm glad you had a good day. That'll stoke the fire, man. Have a good day. Keep it going.
Yeah, I've
keep it going for this weekend.
I had that weird day that didn't do good at Hickory, and that was it. But that was because we were fishing in a tsunami out there. So.
Yeah, miserable.
That's one.
And only Austin knows how to fish in that, I guess.
Him and Mark Wilkins.
Yeah.
Almighty.
Those are the type of weather I like fishing.
Yeah.
Tough ones.
Man, I knew where Mark was going to go to, and I could have beat him to it, but
everyone knew where Mark was going that day.
I know.
Everybody.
I think his pit had so much stuff in the background you knew where Mark was fishing. and the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel can burn you sometimes, Mark.
I met Mark Wilkins at Hickory.
Yeah.
Well, Austin, man, we'll let you have the floor. Mr. Hammer Time, Mr. AOY.
I got 20 minutes.
You got to get in the bed.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, anyway, I love all you guys. Yeah, I love all you guys' story. That's awesome. But I know I want to thank, when the video started, all the sponsors that you show on the video and stuff. I want to shout out to them for helping out Foothills this year, and many more years to come. It's great to see people out there that are willing to help our little people, kayakers out here. But and I also want to thank Cody, you, Garrett, and Ashley for bringing this Foothill. Just like on what I post on Facebook and stuff, and then of course my pro staff people work out stuff like that. But anyway, so go ahead, grab your pens and paper because I'm gonna tell you my whole story. Just kidding.
hey, we're here for the duration, man.
Yeah. So So I mean, I chose a spot. I'll launch on Norman. Whenever launch that we could be able to launch that.
Ramp X,
yeah. So I mean, I don't want to tell what launch, but I know when the way in, I told people what launch I want to, and of course, that launch it has been pretty productive for me past couple of years, and so I used to fish different launch. Like Alex, he goes to whatever launch that he can see that's more productive and stuff, that the stats and stuff. But this launch, this launch I actually found a special brush pile in the back, but apparently this week when I went back there, it's gone. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if they took it out what, So
Yeah.
but anyway, so my game plan for this week, I know Lake Norman, the bass, they're always moving around, and Norman, you have to cover a lot of water no matter what. It doesn't matter. That's just Lake Norman. And in the wind, it always change direction. Even the weatherman says blowing northwest, whatever. Yeah. It all depends on where you're at. I mean, it's like a whirlpool no matter what. But so for me, what I did was, I didn't get a pre-fish practices because I didn't have time and stuff, but it's Norman. So I kind of know the history of it, of my experience and stuff like that. So first thing I did was, it's fall season. So, the bait fish are going to be moving to the back. So that's basically where I started, in the back of, the back of the creeks and stuff. I chose the creek channels, the creeks that I want to go. What I did was I wanted to get a quick limit in the morning. So I went to a point that had a flat, and once you start seeing some stuff, I went ahead. I first threw out, a top water. It didn't work. So I told myself, you know what? I'm going to throw a fluke. I haven't thrown a fluke all year. And I know this is the time they're going to be chasing bait and stuff. So yeah, I caught my limit in like 20 minutes. I didn't post it up because, it was a small limit. I just wanted to get that out of my books, Yeah. And then I waited till, that brush pile I had. Usually, it bites around 10 o'clock. That's usually the time frame whenever they're loaded back there. So I waited till about 10 o'clock before I went over there, and I was just trash fishing, just throwing the fluke, like bank, deep water, still catching because they're everywhere. It was just crazy. And just small fish, average like 12 to 14. It wasn't nothing big. But then whenever I went to the back where my brush pile was, instead of fishing the brush pile, I actually fish. There's always a dock in front of the brush pile, and the brush pile is on the right side. But what I did was, during this time, the bigger bass, they usually in the morning, they're chasing bait fish. So what they do, they usually stay around the walkway of the docks and stuff. So I cast my. I was just catching small ones on fluke. So what I did was I used my almighty shaker head. I was like, maybe I might catch a bigger one with this. I threw it on a walkway, and bam, that's my first 17. I'm like, okay, maybe I should just stick with this all day then. So I caught that and went check the brush pile. Nothing. There was no brush pile there. So I'm like, oh Lord. What do I need to do?
That's so funny.
Yeah. So I already knew the pattern was, Lake Norman, fish boat dock. So I started just working on walkways or, the boat docks and stuff. I fished the whole cove. I caught many more fish, but they were nothing bigger than 17. They were like all 14s or so. And then I decided to go to the next creek arm. I told myself, maybe there's one over here. Maybe I might get lucky since it's still early. And eventually I found another one. It was another 17. So I'm like, okay. And then I decided just to finish off going to the other creek arms and just to check it out. And by that time, I caught a bunch of little ones, and then it's like probably around about 11 o'clock. And I told myself, all right, I think the pattern has changed, and it's the Dead Sea right now where they stop biting. So I told myself let me go check out the main, the midport section. So I went out to the midport section, but I went to a point where there was a deeper dock, and that deeper dock usually I never caught no fish on that, but it was shaded and everything. The wind's blowing that way, and I told myself, there's got to be some fish in there. So I picked. It was a boat dock it was a house boat dock, so I threw it right in there. And I pulled out a largemouth out there, and that was my only largemouth all day. I'm like, so maybe they move out here now since it's deeper. It's got sunny and everything, and on the back it has dropped down. The water has dropped down 3 foot, so or maybe more. Who knows? So I pulled out largemouth and I threw it back in, and I pulled out another a spotted bass, which was like a 16 something. So automatically I knew I upgraded. Yeah, what I had wasn't where I wanted to be. I'm having fun and all that, and then I decided to go, around 12 or 1 o'clock. About 12:30, I decided to say, you know what?
What did you have at that point? What was your limit at that point? Probably
I had
51 1/4.
Yeah, something like that, I guess.
Because he was having, I standings watched nonstop, and I had.
Oh, did you?
5. I was only a half inch.
Okay. So
before you caught that 16, I had actually jumped you for a split second. I had jumped you.
Did you?
And then you caught that one. I looked back 5 minutes later, and you jumped me again, and I never could get back.
Oh, gotcha. So, during that time, I was like, I'm going to go out in the main because I told myself, I already had the game structure, fish in the back, fish midsection, and then go out finish in the main because it's going to be really windy and there's going to be boats going back and forth and part of pleasure boats, during the hottest peak of the day.
Yeah.
And so I told, the launch I went to, I know that there's the docks and close to the launch there, there's bigger fish there because I usually catch bigger fish there. But I went over there and apparently the water level was really low. And I did pull out a 16 out of there. So I told myself, let me just go finish off where the point that I usually do pretty well on at the end of the day. And that 1 hour, that was my epic moment because I chose the right time to go and the right key to do it. And when I went over there, I pull out from that point, that stretch from that point all the way to probably like 4 or 5 docks on that stretch. I pull out 10 17s and 4 16s, and then I finally called one that was my biggest one, my 18.
You're 18. You called it at 206. You made that 18-inch.
Yeah, but I was still catching fish. My last fish I caught was 250, 3 minutes till lines, and that was a 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't have a picture on my phone. I took a picture. I was like, dang, man.
How many fish did you catch? 20?
20 plus, I'll say. Yeah,
That might have been a 30 fish day.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, because I caught from the beginning. The only time I didn't have bites, like a lot of bites, was from 9 to 10 around that time frame when it kind of died on me. Well, not 10, from 11, 10 to 10:30 to 11:30 around that time. But
how many people were at your ramp?
It was just one other kayaker with me. Yeah, one other kayaker.
I think it was a paddle yacker. Was it a guy? Was it a paddle or a pedal?
It was a pedal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a pedal. Yeah, and he's an OG in North Carolina. So I'm glad I actually got met him because I haven't seen him forever. But yeah, I'll say it was David Golden.
That's what I was gonna guess was
David Golden. Yeah.
You had a 17 and a half, a 17.75.
Yep.
And an 18.
And 18. Yeah. That 18, that spot was they were fat. They were feeding on. You
would have cashed a check in the boat tournament.
Did we not?
You would have cashed a check.
I would have.
There was a lot of boats that were heading back in while you was catching them fish.
Yeah, they were
there whole day, and you whacking them over.
Yeah, they were heading back, and they saw me pulling. I was screaming and stuff like that. I was having fun, and to me, I think it was hard for them to position the boat around fishing that because the way it was, it was so windy, and there was so much wave pushing toward the bank. Like I'm talking like 2 foot water waves coming in, and but it was just each dock I went to, I stayed back, pitch it in, and then just have the wind push me out a little bit, and just slowly work it back. Sometimes either they're bite on the fall or they're bite it whenever I kept pulling it past the boat dock up towards me, and there was a couple of brush pile on each docks and stuff out in the front, so they were staged up there just ambushing those. It was the shad was like 2.5 inch when they were spitting it out. So basically I could have thrown anything, shake a head or whatever, they'll still bite it. It just so it was fun. It was just meant to be. The only reason I guess the only reason I won is because my fiance told me, you better win this one. It was her. She was mad at me because she said, why don't you just get this one? Because it's my, it's my birthday. We plan to do it tonight. I said, I gotta go with this one. This one is like, I want to win a Lake Norman one one time. And
well, yeah. I wrote down so you averaged like almost an 18-inch fish. It was like 17.76 or something, I think is what the average worked out to.
Okay.
For your 5 events, that was your average limit, and you averaged 52.6 inches in your 5 that counted towards your TOC. So you won Lake Hickory this past year, so that was the first place. The second event was at Lake Norman. You came in 7th.
Mm-hmm.
The Reservoir Battle, the first installment in the springtime, you came in 3rd on that event. The next Lake Norman in June, you came in 3rd, and then you had a little off stretch for Hammer Time. I mean, I would be cool with the 16th place finish, but Mountain Island and Wiley, you came in 16th, and you put up 48 inches at that event, so that's still not bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Norman event in August wasn't a great finish. The next Reservoir Battle, you came in 3rd, and then this last event, you came in 1st. You had 3 third-place finishes and 2 wins this year. I mean, it's hard to keep up with that, man.
Yeah, I had a little slump during the summertime. I finally figured out what it was. It wasn't. At first, I was getting weak in my arms, hook setting the bass and stuff. So I started working out my arms and stuff. turns out it was my rod. Apparently, I burned them out so much this year, so I had to buy a new rod. And once I did that, it fixed everything.
Fixed everything.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back.
Oh God!
I'm gonna use that as an excuse now to just start buying reels and rods. Like,
yeah,
I understand. Like, it'll help me.
Yeah, a couple off events, and it's time to buy a new reel and rod.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I mean, I like shake your head. I like using spinning reels rod. So. But I know people ask me, it works for me. I know people ask me to try baitcaster, but I try baitcaster. I'm just not used to it, but
I can't feel the bites on a baitcaster like I can a spinning rod, and I don't personally have an issue losing fish, so there's no reason for me to switch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel the same way you do, the exact same way.
Okay, well, I don't feel too bad then.
Well, but, I don't feel bad.
But I do want to, tell like all my family, my friends, all my fishing buddies, all you guys out there, it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing what I do because, it's a passion for me and I love fishing. I love being competitive, but it's not always winning for me. I want this sport to win. That's what I want. And if I can teach people, I would love to teach people because I want to give them the experience that I experienced. Because I do go fishing as much as I can. And my fiance, she don't mind it. She's like, just go ahead, that's something that you love doing. So it's just, I want to thank God for that because, it wasn't, God, there's a reason why Hammer Time that Vinny gave me. Vinny Ferrer gave me this name. So, I mean, it stuck on me, grew on me. And I mean, I guess, the reason why is because whenever it's time to put the hammer, I'll put the hammer on them.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah.
Well, man, I want to brag on you a little bit. You're a man of exceptional character and humility, and you make it easy to root for you, man.
Appreciate that.
We're honored to have you, and honored to have you as the first ever Foothills AOI. Hope there's many more.
I'm honored to be the first one. Yeah, I am.
So I was going to mention this: the Bass Trail magazine. You've heard us talk about those standings. You are currently second place rated as the second best angler in North Carolina, but you've got a few more events.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
you can catch Will Lambert is ahead of you by 40 points. Okay. So there is still an opportunity for you to
yeah, actually, Will
too.
Yeah, Will and I actually talked the other day. He's like, just finish it off, man. I'm tired. I mean, we didn't expect this was going to happen, and we're just fishing, And he's a great guy. He's a hammer. I mean, his last 3 weeks of fishing, I mean, that's unbelievable.
He's had a crazy run.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, and I did ask him personally, "You gonna come fish Queen City, the last one? I mean, it's between you and I. You want this?" And he's like, "Nah, I'm busy." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Just get top 10, just finish it off, man." I said, "I'll try." I mean, it's Queen City, man. It's a national group, so for me, there's so much hammers in there. We'll see what happens. But
there'll be a big field probably at that one.
Yeah, there will be. Yeah, most definitely.
We'd like nothing but for you to win that thing, man. That'd be cool.
That'd be nice. But I mean,
Where'd you finish at in the spring? 5th, 4th?
I think I got third in that one.
Third.
Yeah, third.
Third. Yeah, Kinley got first, and then Landon got second. I got third. Yeah. That was a fun event for me too.
You caught some big ones in that event.
Yeah.
Did you weigh any of them from them? Do you have a scale?
No.
Do you weigh
the funny thing is I have a scale weight, but I just don't ever use it. I'm just so happy just measuring it and take a quick photo and then just throw them because it's just that window bite I have when I know they're biting. But like on practice and stuff. Yeah, I just got to get that going. It's like, hey, catch a fish, weigh it, see how much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have you thought about a YouTube channel, Hammer Time?
I have when I first started. I have, but I know it's so much editing.
It is.
And, I might
spend a few hours doing it. That's it.
Yeah, I might think about doing one. I'll probably have my brother-in-law edit for me.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, but like it's fun to watch. I'm gonna tell you, it's fun to watch all these anglers out there, how they when they first start and how they grow from this sport. Like I'll give an example. Like my brother-in-law, he started and he fishes with me all the time, and he learns what he can learn on. And like watching his YouTube videos and stuff, it's awesome. Like the best one I always personally think was the one he fished at Lake Hickory when I won that one, Queen City, when it was muddy. I mean, I practiced the week before and then it just got blown out and there was no pattern or anything, but apparently the fish moved back. And hold on, let me open the door. Let me open it for my daughter. But yeah, and but like during that tournament, I already had it in the bag, but there was so much fish there. I know David Golden was there, and but my brother like, what are you using and all that, and I was like, don't you see what I'm using? And then I gave him, well, he got something close to it, and he started using it, but some reason he just caught trees all day. All day, and then PC was there, and PC was him and I was laughing, and it's a great video. You gotta watch that, go back and watch his video. But yeah, but I do want to shout out. I saw Matt Hodge on here. I did want to shout out to him. It wasn't for him whenever I started fishing. He actually showed me how I watched him use a shaky head, and ever since then, and I saw him win a lot of, like, cash a lot of checks and stuff. I started just predicting that and just went with it. And it seems like it's a good method to use if you be consistent and stuff. And that's pretty cool. So I call him Made of Ice. Hopefully he'll come back and fish next year. I know he's working on some stuff, some personal stuff. So hopefully he'll come back. I can't wait to see him come back. But
I've messaged him a few times, and I'm trying to stay on him. I'm hoping he gets to come back next year. That's probably my biggest hope for 2024 is that Matt Hodge makes it back.
Yeah, most definitely. And then I did want to shout out to John Ladd. He is for him, he's an inspiration because what he's doing now, he's helping out younger generation stuff and trying to get them out of showing what of helping them reach what goals and stuff. Like he helped me become a pro staff with True South Custom Lures, and John Martin, he's a great guy, and I needed some top water spinner baits and everything, and I can't wait. I'll have it, and that's something I'm practicing to get that bigger bite, because that's what I need. I need a kicker and stuff on each tournament and stuff, because I shaky head works, but I know like there's some time of the day I have to use a jig or something to get that bigger bite.
It don't look like it. I can't tell. That.
You start slinging a jig under boats and get confident with that, we're really all screwed.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and PayPal the money directly to you after that.
But like I said, for me, this is my passion, and I want to reach out to people and show them the growth of the kayak fishing, because that's something personal that Jackie Hughes saw in me, that I'm a humble guy, that's the type of person I am. I'm going to show what I have. I'm not going to hide it and just be quiet when I do tournaments and you guys see me. I'm just quiet and stuff. I'm not going to tell any stories, anything. Yeah, I'm going to tell everybody what I did and stuff.
Man.
But yeah.
Well, we appreciate it.
No one can shake it like you, anyways. Hammer time. So
oh Lord, now you've been checking me out, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that Omnia shirt too, by the way.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So since you said that, so I want to shout out to Omnia, shout out to True South Custom Lure, shout out to Risen Sun Custom, and then shout out to Outdoor Supply, for them having me at pro staff. It's great, and I'm honored for that. And then and then of course I'm gonna shout out to Foothills, to Garrett, to Cody and Ashley, for what you did. It's real local for me. Lake Hickory is 10 minutes from the house. So
yeah, man.
Yeah.
You get the practice for the big stuff with us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, for me, I'm glad that I get to see all you guys out there and always trying to hammer it, because you guys make me work harder for myself, because you guys teach me stuff every time I go out there. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah,
I know. You said lose your uncle?
Yeah, he's my uncle, and culture wise, but he's my first cousin.
Okay.
Yeah,
so. He caught a nice fish on Norman.
Yeah, he did.
A nice fish. Yeah,
back.
Yeah. Did he catch? Was that one in practice on Norman as well up there?
Yeah, it was like a.
That was bigger. It looked like it weighed more. I don't know about lengthwise, but it looked like that one was freaking giant.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, I bet you that ramp. Yeah, they're loaded over there. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of people going there.
That ramp's random as hell.
Is it? Gotcha.
Random as hell.
Well, I like your community, Austin. All you guys seem to be tightly knit and push each other. And some of you guys are some of the best anglers in the state, past and now. You mentioned the Hodge brothers. Both those dudes signed up to be members this year and didn't fish. I think Lee fished one event with us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they just donated their $30 in support of, the TOC and in support of the club.
Mm-hmm.
Just the community as a whole of a bunch of solid man.
Yeah, we like our community. We like to fish it slow, so that's part of why. Yeah. I'm just kidding. But I want to shout out to Waterways for being Angler of the Year, for them giving the kayak, the feel free kayak, and then of course the black pack from Yak Attack, and the casting rod. The casting rod definitely gonna put that one to use too. That one I don't have a rod for my chatterbait, and that one's definitely gonna be useful for me because I love throwing chatterbait. And then of course the black pack. That's a game changer for me because I'm old school. I have the old milk crate.
Same.
I don't know you guys remember that, but that's what I use.
That's what I got too.
Okay.
I got a milk crate.
Yeah. So that's definitely going to help me.
Yeah, you're gonna love that thing, Austin. It's
appreciate it. Yeah,
I like those new little compartments that they got for them. Like I think I saw them either yours or John's, Mark, or maybe.
Yeah, I just got those probably from the gift certificate I got from.
They're super cool for just organizing individual techniques and keeping everything all nice and neat. And they're pretty heavy duty, and you can hook them in all different areas. Those are really cool.
Yeah, it came in handy. That's where I had my extra spools of line that right on top.
Is that you talking about the new one that came out? Is that
I got the little small packs. Yeah. They come in a 2-pack.
Yeah,
you can put it on a rail.
I ordered that with my gift cards because I was saving that for a black pack, but since I got AOI, now I can use that for something.
Hey, you can mount it on top of the Black Pack Pro. You can mount it anywhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does the black pack come with any of the rod holders, or do you have to buy all of them extra?
It comes with
This one
4.
comes with 4. Yeah.
Four.
Yeah.
Okay. How many can it hold?
I got 10.
Damn.
So
You got how many? 10?
10. Yeah.
Oh
I've
wow.
got 9 on mine.
Nice.
I don't even have. I've got 5 rods. I don't even got
It's
that.
only so I don't have to
That's
change
what I
things.
use.
I don't.
But I end up
it's
using
about
only
laziness.
one.
Yeah.
I'm
One or
about to
two.
take all of mine off except for one, and I'm just going to throw a shaky head all next season.
Hey, that's
All
the
next
best
season.
practice to do. Just use that one rod and just practice with that lure.
Like I'm about to go out to Hickory every evening the rest of this week, and I'm gonna be at gunpowder throwing a shaky head.
That's fine. Holler at me. I'm just fighting over there right now.
Yeah, one of the dudes I work with, he fishes on the college team in Hickory. He came to work one day. He was like, "Man, I didn't catch a fish, and I came by this guy in gunpowder on a kayak. Said
Yeah.
he's over there pulling them out left and right." I said, "Was it a blue kayak?" He said, "Yeah." And he said he talked to you in the parking lot and said you were catching him on a shaky head, and I said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I knew it
Okay,
was."
I remember that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
short dude. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun day. They just started pulling up because it's it's during this time. So yeah, gunpowder is pretty fun right now. So yeah.
Good to know.
So anybody got any question out there?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
running through
Yeah,
a
I'm looking at
a
my
lot of
phone.
dudes are congratulating you. Some
I
of them say
appreciate it.
Facebook user, I can't tell, but John Ladd says, if you didn't see it, keep doing what you're doing, Austin.
I'm doing what I can, John. I'm doing whatever the Lord tells me to do, whatever He's giving me. So
Yeah. Amen.
Somebody said, "When does class start?"
When the class start, the one-on-one Austin. I might have to do one. Dang.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, man, we appreciate and are honored to have you as the AOY. I hope you finish out the season with Queen City and do well. And I really hope you make it to the Bassmaster again. I think it's in
That'd be
Oklahoma.
nice.
Yeah, you going to 10 killer if you make it, Austin?
Oh yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
too. I'm hoping like hell I can make it. I want to go out there so bad.
Okay. Well, are you gonna stay home and then drive straight?
No. I don't think I can day trip that one. I don't think I can day trip that one. I have to stay somewhere for that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Well, we both make it. Yeah, we can find a place.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Might have to bring your bed so you can sleep well.
Yeah, I'll just sleep in the truck. I'll get me a little air mattress and put it in the truck bed.
Okay. Oh yeah, we'll definitely see how it goes. It's gonna
That's
be
November the 4th, right?
I
Yes.
believe so.
State championship on the 4th.
Yeah.
Which is the lake is gonna be packed. That's the Special Olympics
It
tournament. There's gonna be like 200 boats out there in that.
Yeah.
Is that on the 4th this year?
Yes.
I'll be in it, so I'll come by. I'll make sure to block for you guys. I'll
Just act like you're cutting us all off and then just go away. Like,
Just
I'll just park the boat sideways right in front of everyone else.
yeah, that's
just throw your lure under my kayak. You'll catch some fish. Man.
Yeah. I'll live scope and just watch them swim around.
They're over here.
They're directly below his kayak every time. I promise.
Yeah, that's what Garrett
I've
said
witnessed
Saturday. He said, I think the fish just follow him around, man.
It's like one of those comments. I think with BG, I was asking Matt, did I drink the holy water at Lake Wally or something? Dude, I was trying to drink some youth water, man. I want to get younger, not older. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
All right, man. I'll let you do your thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
We're going overboard.
you got to get up early.
Always, man. I always gotta get up early.
Well, let's
Family man and everything, man.
we'll spin this wheel real quick for the 2 free entries. We're gonna do the 2 free entries real quick. I'm gonna shuffle it. This is for 2 free entries for memberships for next year, courtesy of Life Ring Ministries and Frank Hatcher and his crew. Mark Linden.
Nice.
There you go.
Kidding. All right, Mark, I'm gonna remove you just so it doesn't spin you again. Mark's got a free membership. And probably Austin or Alex.
Sigh. Nice.
James got a free membership for next year. Awesome. All right, and then we'll create the new wheel here, and it's not going to look nothing special.
What's Beatrice? Which lake is
Are we
Beatrice?
fishing Beatrice?
Just type in Norman, you'll be fine.
So we're going to put Hickory on there,
Yeah.
and we're going to put Road Hiss.
James TSC would be cool. That's really what I'm hoping for.
We'll throw Lake James on there.
Austin, I know what you're hoping for Hickory, aren't you?
I don't matter.
Yeah, lie.
Oh,
Okay, I said out loud. I thought how myself.
yeah. I won on all of them.
Who's it? All right, Mountain Island Lake.
Mark, what's your vote?
Norman.
Norman.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was even an option. I thought at the beginning of the year you said you were going to take Norman out because we fished it 3 times.
No. Some people were saying take Hickory off. I was like, I can't take Hickory off.
No.
Other people were saying take Norman off. Then you got 3 lakes to fish. So we did remove Wiley for Queen City because they have their off limits period. And I don't want to mess anybody up on that. And we removed Lookout because there's 2 ramps and they're like 200 yards away from each other, and it would just be a fiasco. But here we're shuffling it the best we can. Nothing.
Hey, do a longer spin.
Oh, Garrett.
Yeah.
Oh, just landed on Norman.
Okay, spin time.
20.
25 seconds.
Yeah, let's make it suspenseful.
All right, shuffle the best that can be shuffled here, and let's see what it's going to be.
The beach ball of death. What do we get?
I got my money on Kerskott.
It's going to be James.
Are you kidding? It's going to be Road Hiss.
Oh, God.
It's Road Hiss. I haven't fished Road Hiss forever.
I've never fished Road Hiss.
Oh,
Keep going.
oh,
Go.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Mountain Island.
That was gonna be fun.
man,
Never
that's a
fished.
long
That's
way to
better
drag
than
my boat.
That's for sure.
Oh,
Awesome.
my truck windows are gonna get busted out in the parking lot.
I went fishing Mount Island 3 times this year, and I haven't done so well. So
You're due.
I've never fished it.
Hey, it's gonna be easy to track everybody down with the bass boat to take photos.
Yeah.
Now. So
That-
that'll be good.
That's a mid-sized lake, so it's not as small as could have been bad with Road Hiss. It would have worked out, but that would have been the smallest lake, and then probably James or Norman. So Mountain Island's probably a good fit.
And on that lake, I know exactly where to go find Austin, take pictures there.
Yeah.
We'll not do a lot. We'll do a off limits period like from Monday. If you want to fish,
Is it a 1 or 2 day event?
just a 1 day
Okay.
they do. So, but we'll do an off limits period on it from say Monday to the event. So if you want to fish it the weekend before, no issues there. So,
Cool.
But I'll let you guys go. Let y'all get in.
I'm gonna go eat some supper. I got
Yeah.
beef that
It's Taco Tuesday around here.
I got some fettuccine alfredos in there.
Well, guys, I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you. I can't speak for them. I said we, but I appreciate you, Cody. I hope you have a good night.
I will, man. I hope you guys
Later,
have
y'all. See y'all. See you,
We'll
Mark.
see you
See
soon.
everybody watching.
Austin, I got your stuff. You just holler at me, man.
Okay, we'll do.
We'll get together.
Yep.
Appreciate all you guys. I'm going to end it here.
Thanks, everyone.
So